Milk, right out of the gates. I don't want to talk about hockey right now. I want to ask you your opinion about something, okay? Now, let me give you a little bit of background on this, okay?
Please.
I moved into a new area, and from St. Albert, from the burbs, and we're dealing with a bit of a porch pirate issue in my neighborhood. I've had, I think, 3 or 4 packages stolen since we moved in November.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a theory now that it might be, and again, I want to say this out loud. Being a delivery driver is not an easy job. That's a hard job, right? Mm-hmm. And I know that I'm guessing 99% of them are all very trustworthy, responsible, good people. But I think there might be the odd situation where you got a bad apple in the bunch, right? And I think that guy delivers to my neighborhood. So
this is classic Locke.
Okay,
You've got the only bad one in the delivery
city.
driver that's associated with organized crime.
I don't want to make it sound like I think everybody that delivers packages to homes is a porch pirate. But I think he's complicit in the thievery that's happening in my neighborhood. So I've sort of been going through this neighborhood sting operation over the last little while. And yesterday, now, Grant, don't say anything. Let me tell him my story. Because Grant has an opinion, and
you don't
I want somebody else's opinion. I'm telling it right. I'm telling it right now.
You make it sound a little different than the reality was.
So yesterday, I was out in the yard, and he came into our area and delivered a package across the street. I stood at the front of my house and tried to make eye contact with him, and he avoided eye contact. Do you think that means he's guilty?
Yep.
So here's the full story.
You're like Andy Garcia in Ocean's 11. Here's
the full story. 2 days ago, Locke was running after him down the street, yelling at him.
No, I wasn't.
And then yesterday, he was shirtless at the end of his street, yelling at him.
I had a shirt on.
So, of course, the guy tried to avoid him.
Well, I don't know. Well, that's a welcoming sight in the neighborhood, if you ask my opinion.
Anyway, okay. So let's jump into Oilers conversation. Don't let me forget to bring up the Nuge rookie jersey. Thank you for being on my side, Baggedmilk. These two assholes are not. Okay, so how are you handling the Nuge conversation, the swirling rumors?
Should they sell high on him is what people are saying.
Yeah.
Well, so this rumor that everybody's talking about right now started on a blog in Boston. So it's not from a media member. It's not from anybody with any kind of like insider knowledge. It's a guy who said he has quote unquote league sources. Well, I quote unquote have league sources. So what does that mean? A whole lot of nothing. That same dude also said that the Bruins should try to trade for Leon Draisaitl. So yeah, sure.
He's just throwing stones.
I mean, just why not try and trade for Connor McDavid too? So I don't put any stock in it. I do understand the idea of trading a guy at his highest value. The reality is Nuge probably isn't going to hit 104 points again. That said, I didn't expect him to hit it in the first place. So I can understand the idea of selling at a guy high, but you also have to think about at $5.125 million, are you going to be able to find a player that gives you as many tools as Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for that amount of money? And the answer is no.
Nuge for Taylor Hall.
You could do Nuge for Taylor Hall. Why not? You do Nuge for Tyler Seguin. Let's just we'll just run through a Nuge for Adam Larson. So I just think that this is we're in silly season. We're getting clicks out here. We're all in the same thing. So I don't put too much thought behind it. I wrote about it the other day at OilersNation.com. I just making up rumors. I get it.
It's the off season.
Had a great year.
The interesting
is what we do.
Yeah, the interesting thing as well about the off season is you start to dissect the teams that have made it and the success that they've had and what did they do and is there a template that other teams could follow. And one of the predominant conversations right now is the Florida Panthers did nothing last year after a okay run at the playoffs. And they sort of said, listen, this is the team. They made one big acquisition at the end of the season, and then they just sort of stuck to their guns and went at it. Do you think that's a template that the Oilers are looking at going, you know what? We've got a team. We did a pretty decent job. Do we just stick with this combination and make a go of it?
Yes. That's exactly what I think has happened.
Yeah.
I do think that there's going to be changes on the team, but I don't think they're going to be huge ones. Like, as an example, as much as I like the guy and I like the style he plays, I wouldn't be surprised if the Oilers trade a guy like Kyler Yamamoto to try and clear some space to maybe get a bigger move. Frank Saravalli from Daily Faceoff has talked about the Oilers chasing a guy like Damon Severson in free agency. He would be a great defenseman to add into the top four. However, they need some money to make it happen. So how do you do that? They're going to have to move out some pieces. So to your point, Locke, I think they're going to do the exact same thing as Florida did. Maybe not take a huge swing and find a Matthew Tkachuk of any variety, but I do think that they're going to bring back the bulk of the same team. Couple of different pieces here and there, maybe a major one. If they could get a Damon Severson, that'd be a huge addition. Whether or not they can make that happen, that's a different story. But I'm thinking you're right. I'm thinking there's not going to be a whole lot of changes going into next year.
Do you know much about this prospect Phil Kemp that they just signed to a 2-year deal?
Phil Kemp's been around for a little while now. He's kind of been working his way through the ranks and kind of doing what you would expect a prospect that you draft kind of in a later round to do. He's now spent 2 full years in Bakersfield, kind of had his quote-unquote breakout season, if you want to call it that, last year. 6 goals, 15 assists, and 21 points, so he's a right-handed defenseman. The Oilers don't have a whole lot of that. He's got some good size. He's 6'3", is what he's listed at, only 24, so there's things to like here. It's a long-term project, to be sure, but the Oilers need some D-men on their depth chart organizationally, and I think that picking up Phil Kemp is a nice little piece of housekeeping to get done early in the offseason.
I want to mention this quickly. Next week, we're doing an auction actually on the Thursday, June 8th. We'll be doing it starting at 6 o'clock in the morning through till 9. And it's an auction we do every year. We give a chance to golf with the locker room at the Ardent Roof Systems charity golf tournament at the ranch. So there's the barbecue steak dinner, Jimmy's in the dunk tank, and we had a listener throw in a little bit of a bonus prize this year, part of the auction. So you'll get to golf with the locker room, but you'll also be walking away with a Ryan Nugent-Hopkins rookie jersey, 2010-2011, signed, that has never been worn.
Nice.
No one's put the damn thing on, and it was bought back in 2010 when they signed him for $750. So we're doing that next Thursday, and I just wanted to give that a bit of a plug. So there
What's
you go.
the starting bid coming in at?
Well, you know what? We haven't got a bid yet, but yeah.
There's no
we haven't launched
bottom
it yet.
set to it. So
yeah, we usually just get on the air that morning and take the first text, and then we go from there. Over the year,
Started off at $200, Locke.
All right,
Put
there we go.
Baggedmilk down, 200 bones, first bid in.
There we go. Okay,
Perfect.
Awesome. I like it. Thank you.
Appreciate
Again,
it.
Yeah.
We'll finish that off next Thursday, June 8th. But you'll have to be listening to the locker room. The golf, just mark it on your calendar, is Friday, July 7th. And again, that's at the ranch. Thank you for that. Thank you for your time today, Baggedmilk.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
The Locker Room for Ardent Roof Systems. Weekday mornings on 95.7 Cruise FM.